In Ella McCay, an idealistic young politician, Ella, played by Emma Mackey, juggles family issues and a challenging work-life balance while preparing to take over the job of her mentor, the state's longtime incumbent governor, played by Albert Brooks. Ella McCay is directed by James L. Brooks, who has directed films such as Terms of Endearment and As Good as It Gets. James L. Brooks' new film, Ella McCay, is not a good film, and it's also not a bad film at all. It's just like a so-so film. I did prefer his disappointing last film, How Do You Know, a little bit more. It came out about 15 years ago, and that one, I think that film is not up to his other films, but I think it's a little bit underrated. But this film, Ella McCay, is a little bit of a disappointment, even though this film I was never bored by this film, and I guess for the most part, I was entertained. So yes, I was entertained by this film, but I was also frustrated by this film as well. This film, in its structure and in what it tackles and its themes and its story, is a bit all over the place. It does attempt to tackle some nice, interesting subjects. But the main thread throughout this film is Emma Mackay. She plays a young politician, a deputy governor, and she is just got the job to be governor, take over her mentor, played by Albert Brooks, and just as she gets this job, she is embroiled. She is caught up in a scandal where she is caught by a journalist. She in a lunch break, there's like this like studio owned by the government, and then she'll go to this studio on her lunch break with her husband and just hang out and be alone with her husband, and that's this big scandal that's throughout the whole film, and I just think in this day and age, that type of scandal would really be not really that very interesting compared to the scandals that we see in the news every day coming out throughout the world. That type of scandal was like kind of blown out of proportion throughout this film. I think this film has too many characters, too many plot lines going throughout. Emma Mackay, Ella McCay, she has a younger brother, quite younger, almost like 15, 20 years younger than him, and she kind of like guides him, looks over him throughout the film, and she's also has a bit of a distant relationship with her father. Another type of that relationship. 2025 is the year of fractured father-daughter relationships. We had Jake Kelly and we had Sentimental Value, and now we have Emma Mackay, and Woody Harrelson plays her father, and he's a bit of a womanizer, and he treated his wife, mother not very well, and he's pretty much like he just jumps from woman to woman, and then that's why the relationship between him and Ella is quite fractured, and that was actually an interesting part of the film, even though it's a plot line we've seen so many times. Even this year we've seen so many times. I think Woody's and Emma Mackey's performances, I think, do enough for me to be invested in that story. But unfortunately, that plot line is kind of like forgotten about through most of the film. There's another like plot line where Ella McCay's younger brother has like he's kind of like a bit of a hermit. He stays at home, and Ella's trying to figure out why he's doing this. And apparently he broke up with his girlfriend about a year ago, and then that's like another plot line throughout the film. And then towards the end of the film, we get introduced to Edebiri, who is the girlfriend, and she only has like one scene in the film. So I think the younger brother character wasn't really necessary to this film. He could have been totally tossed in this film, and it would not have made any difference whatsoever. And Emma Mackey's husband is played by Jack Lowden, and there's another plotline between her and him that was very interesting, how he is kind of threatened by her power and how she's rising, and then his career and his life is kind of like overshadowed by her. And I just wish the film kind of focused on that a little bit more, because I found that quite interesting. We don't really get in movies a lot where the male character has to deal with his wife's like impending career surgeons. So I wish the film focused on that a little bit more. But I just found Emma Mackey and Jack Lowden's characters so different. I didn't understand. Like Emma Mackey, she comes across as quite intelligent in the film. I don't understand. Like her husband's a little bit of a weasel and a little bit like a douchebag. Like he gets called douchebag a few times in the film, and he does like many stupid things in the film. And I just didn't understand why she was with him. Like she has been with him. She's a teenager. So that's like 16, 17, 18. So And I understand if she got pregnant or she got married, then that would make sense why they're still together. But I don't understand why why she married her high school sweetheart. So they don't not really a good match in this film. And a couple of actors in this film who are just very barely in this film, and I just assume it's either they said, okay, I will do a James or Brooks movie. I don't care what the part is. I don't care if it's one line or two lines. Then I will jump in and do this movie. So as I said before, Edebiri has one scene. Also, Rebecca Hall plays Emma Mackey's mother, but she gets killed off in the first like 10-15 minutes, so she's barely in the film. So either they just said yes to this film with no script, or maybe their scenes were left on the cutting room floor. Some narration that goes throughout the film, narration by Julie Kavner, and a little bit condescending, annoying at first, but in the second half of the film, Julie Kavner, she plays her Emma Mackay's assistant, and I kind of warmed up to her a little bit in the second half of the film. And especially in the first half of the film, there's quite a lot of flashbacks in the first half of the film, trying kind of like introducing us how Ella McCay became who she came, how she became who she is. But those flashback scenes were not really interested to the film, because I especially in the first half of the film, I found it hard to believe Emma Mackey as a like young politician. I wouldn't say she's miscast. It's just that I just think the film didn't really build up to her being a governor. I would have liked to see some, like, instead of those unnecessary flashback scenes, I would have liked to have seen her maybe in college or as a young politician going up in the ranks, just so later on in the film when she's a governor, it's more believable. The highlights in this film are probably the performances. That's probably what keeps this film entertaining. Emma Mackey as Ella McCay, she's a very charming and funny, and throughout the film, she really carries the film the whole way through. You're really invested in her character, even though the film does fail us as a viewer in other ways. So this film really does show that she can carry a film by herself. She's really charming in this film. And there's two supporting performances, Jamie Lee Curtis and Albert Brooks. They get all of the good lines in this film, and they really do shine in this film. Jamie Lee Curtis plays Ella McCay's kind of protective aunt, and she's quite amusing in this film. And Albert Brooks plays her mentor, who's passing on the torch to her. And they do get in the middle stretch of the film, about 45 minutes to an hour in the middle stretch of the film, they completely disappear from the film. So you really do miss their like humor and their levity in the middle section of the film, because the film does get quite serious there. I give Ella McCay 2.5 stars out of 5. It's not a bad movie. It's not a good movie. I was entertained for the most part, but it just doesn't tackle. It just teases us with nice adult themes that it's going to explore, but just doesn't do enough. And it just has too many characters, too many plot lines go out the film, and just doesn't resolve anything in a satisfactory way. But does have some nice performances in the film by Emma Mackey, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Albert Brooks. So I wouldn't recommend this film, but I don't think it's the worst film. It's not as bad as the critics are saying about this film at the moment. Thanks for watching. What did you think of Ella McCay? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.